You are about to listen to a revised group coaching session in my beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, perfect program, Hybrid Hub. It is a combination of a course and a group coaching program and community for hybrid photographers and videographers to scale their business. The snippets you'll hear in this podcast are hopefully valuable, but they don't show how supportive and funny and smart and beautiful, gorgeous, Larry's perfect the members of Hybrid Hub actually are during these calls. If at any point you're like, oh my God, I have to join Hybrid Hub, I have to get in this room, I totally get it. So you can either book a free one-on-one strategy call to see what your next steps are for scaling your photo video business, or just join at the link below. I want to make sure that Hybrid Hub is the right fit for you, so I highly encourage the one-on-one call. But with that said, let's get right into the episode. It is a lot, right, to carve out time when you're not only doing everything for your life and your business all day, but during this time where a lot of us are trying to wind down and to shift back into that balance in personal time, to still carve it out in our calendar to say, I have this goal for myself. And I want so badly to make progress and move the needle and to be proud of myself in this area, to commit even another fraction of personal time out of your Wednesday evening to do that. And it isn't lost on me. It's a lot. We might be tired from work, from school, from just pouring into our clients all day. So really take a moment to think about you right now and what you want your business to be and your goals, and thank yourself for pouring into yourself in your evening time. Here's what I've been thinking about, especially over this past week, going into the holiday season between Thanksgiving and Christmas, especially this year, has felt really goal-oriented for me, has felt very intentional. I definitely have not slowed down the way I know we think of doing in the season. And I've thrown a ton of balls up in the air, just hoping to catch them. And I keep checking in on all of you and your businesses, looking at your websites, just thinking about what it's going to take this next year to serve you and to help you serve yourselves and your goals for yourselves. And the universe has a little bit of irony, right? Where like I'm thinking about all of you and I'm thinking about what it will take to make all of this easier for you, to make sure you actually implement on these systems that we're going through and we're learning together, and what it's actually going to take to get you where you want to go. And then the universe says to me, bitch, I'm going to give your son the flu. And the universe says, you know what? You're a plague is coming upon your house. You will not sleep for the next week. And I also have taken this time and intention for myself, right? To look at my systems and look at my goals and these two businesses I have, and to think, what would make this easier? How do I simplify this? How do I make this possible for myself? And I have let go of my photo studio in the last 2 weeks. So I've been on my Facebook Marketplace grind. I've been selling furniture. I've been working to sell my art. I've been grinding through my last few indoor appointments, figuring out how to sustain a little bit of my brand and studio work by being able to become more mobile and light and travel to the businesses I work with more regularly rather than them come to me in my photo studio space. And so I watched my personal space fill with the furniture and the backdrops that haven't sold, right? Like I'm looking around at it right now and I feel like a hoarder. And I think to myself, this is so beautiful that I have this time in my life that feels so chaotic as I'm trying to strip it, as I'm trying to make it so simple, and as my family needs me, and as my attention feels so split when all I want to do is focus on the things I'm simplifying. And it reminds me that as these phases go up for you all, and you're seeing like every single checkbox I want you to check in every system I want you to do, it's a beautiful reminder that we can come back together and check in and talk about the balls we're dropping and the systems we haven't been able to complete without it being a failure. If we need to put off a task for another day, if we need to come back to something at another time, knowing that we are all like-minded, that we have similar goals, we have extremely busy, beautiful, full lives, but we have this thing we want to do and scale, and we can always get back on track if we fall off. So, the last thing I want to say now that we're all settled in and ready is that the accountability space in Hybrid Hub is yours to reconnect to what you did yesterday, to talk about what you accomplished today, to talk about what's blocking you from your goals, and to celebrate wins and see positivity and light in everything and to give shout outs to things that are beautiful and helping you. So it's that Y, that yesterday, T for today, B for blockers, and then W for wins slash shout outs. I want you to feel so free to check into the community every single day and just quickly, even if it's a few words for each category, feel like you can brain dump or journal in that accountability space and just give a check-in on where you're at. Similarly, today, I want to go through and hear from all of you. If you are already have a question, feel free to put a Q in the chat, like just a Q, and I'll call on you next or first. Other than that, you know my style. If you look even a little bit scared, you're going to be first. Tell me what you're currently working on, what you're currently working toward, and then tell me what's blocking you from achieving that goal, and we'll all work through it together. I'm so excited to see you all. We're going to have a really, really great chat tonight. This student is hosting a retreat, and it's going to be baller and so good. She wants to market it and hadn't done a marketing system like this to this caliber yet. First of all, I'm so fucking proud of you that you're doing this. This is a lot to take on, especially during the holidays, and it's booking season. Like, you live in Colorado, which means it's slower, which means you're like actively working on getting leads for next year, right?
I've had so many inquiries and consult calls this week. It's kind of
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. So your job is Zoom right now,
Yeah.
and you're also trying to plan this huge thing and convince business owners to part with their money.
hmm
One thing about this period of time, like this first marketing push, is it will help you so much in your photo video business too. Nothing has helped me grow thicker skin on handling questions and objections, on directly selling, on being excited and standing behind my product, like having an education business. It's brought so much big dick energy into my actual photo video service business, where it gets to the point where I get on a call with these people and I'm like, why would you not choose me? Like, just I don't get it. Why wouldn't you? And so my only advice for this, because I just came from a season of needing to sell $40,000 worth of tickets for a retreat that I was very, very in debt for, and we ended up doing it, that it might take more marketing pushes and more one-on-one conversations than feels comfortable for you. But
hmm
like just diving in and pushing through, even if like certain phases and pushes aren't working, it will bleed over into your photo video business, and it's going to be really, really great. And this is a really appropriate, safe space to keep bringing it up. Like, I'm sure everyone's always curious about your style shoot and wants to hear about it too.
Yeah. It's been cool to like kind of work a different like a different audience marketing wise. And like I feel like I'm more like play testing different things, which is fun and trying to see like what sticks and then getting ideas of how I can use different things in like my photo business too.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, don't be scared when you see people opening your emails or clicking the link. Don't be scared to DM them and be like, "Hey, notice you're interested. Like, what is stopping you from buying?" Because
Yeah.
like the more directly like you can ask people what is stopping them and what their objections are, like you might not and probably won't convert that person, but the people willing to be honest with you are actually helping you sell to the masses, because then you can hop on stories and be like, hey, like it sounds like you guys don't like buying things in December. So like I'm gonna do a big like push in February when you have more deposits in your account. Or like, hey, it sounds like you guys don't know why you want to sell in Crested Butte. Like, I want to speak to that. So like every single thing any individual says, then you start marketing using their objections.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Sick. I'm proud of you. I think you're doing awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome. This student is getting down because she makes a commitment to do something in the program and then feels like her biggest blocker is time and energy because she has a full-time job and a husband and a baby. I asked her what it would take to make this phase of the program easier for her so that we can meet her where she's at. You're a mom to a very young child and you have a full-time job. Don't think of it
Yeah.
as a blocker. Think of it this is a midweek reset, and you will figure out how to get this done. You said Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 2 days now. You've got it, baby. You'll figure it out. Moms are amazing.
Yep. And I am grateful for my coworkers for liking my baby.
I love your baby. It's a good baby.
Yeah, he's great. He's just getting into toddlerhood, so that challenge.
Totally. Mine is the sickliest little man there ever
No.
was. I just wait, I have to tell you guys this really quick. His whole life, he just like he gets so sick and coughs so hard that he throws up and he like breathes really, really fast. Everything
Poor
that Google tells you
baby.
you have to go to an ER for, he does every time he's sick. So they tell me every doctor's appointment, yeah, we can't test him for allergies or asthma or do anything further for him until he's 3. And I'm like, okay, yay, he's 3. So we go to his appointment and they say they're going to refer me to the asthma specialist, slash allergen specialist. And I get a call today because we needed his like baby vape thing refilled because he's sick right now. And they were like, yeah, did you ever go to the asthma specialist? Or no, they said if you have to use this medicine twice before the end of January, you need a referral for the asthma guy. And I was like, okay, well, they've never called me. I already have the referral. And they said, oh, like they will never call you. You have to call them. So it's just been like years of this being my own personal hell with this kid. And
Poor
now
buddy.
I have to call them myself because they told me they would call me and they never did. So that's been my day. We're both having mom
Mm.
days. I know one of your fears, right, is out of sight, out of mind, and you feel like you'll give up, right?
Yeah.
So I just want you to know I will check in with you on Monday. And even if that means you carve out 20 minutes while he happens to be down for a nap and you get through a couple checkpoints on the list, like I just want to hear some positive news on Monday, like some progress.
Okay.
Okay, you can do this. You're doing awesome.
Okay, thanks.
This student is in a phase where she feels like marketing has taken a back burner, feels like client work is so much more important than marketing, and gets into phases of loving social media but is feeling like everything sucks and has nothing new to talk about. We talked about this in co-working when I was in a grump ass mood, but I come prepared to be wise on these nighttime calls. I feel similarly. I have a little bit of short form marketing ick where like even when I take the time to batch, when it comes time to post, I'm like, this is kind of ass. Like, what's the point of posting this? And so I also very strongly resonate with the feeling that if I have client work due, I'm not allowed to post on social media. Like that feels not as important. And so when we take a step back from those feelings and we look at everything we're trying to systemize in 2026, it becomes like, okay, how do I set myself up now that I don't have clients to worry about so that when this happens again next year, when I'm feeling this elevated about this, I'm just so used to taking actions that are removed from this emotion. Abby feels the same way. I wanted to say this when someone else wasn't talking. If you haven't yet, please put your Instagram in the chat so everyone can follow. And so Rachel, I feel you, and honestly, I'm very similar to you. And it's not an excuse. Like you will get back on track. And by this time next year, this will be easier because in phase 4, you will have such a complete system. We will hold each other so accountable to sticking to the system. And phase 6 is literally 30-day cycles of you doing this over and over and over again until it's like breathing. So we will get through it.
Yeah, I'm really excited
That
for
feels
that.
good. I will say, and I said this the other day too, but I want it to benefit the whole group, is that when you get to a place where you are very, very confident that the people actually searching for you will find you, when you get to a place where you feel confident that the people searching for you will find you, then when you have these bouts of not feeling like showing up on social media, you don't judge yourself as harshly. So like when you know you're the top bitch of Colorado and the top bitch of like these very specific locations and people who are looking for what you do will find you, then it's a little easier to be in these periods, which knowing your personality, it'll happen again in the next year. And then it's like, okay, at least like intent-based people will find me.
Yeah.
So we're just going to really, really really focus on ranking and search, and then everything else will fall into place. She gets what I mean. It's fine. This photographer feels so overwhelmed with her full-time job and gets stressed thinking about her business to the point where she goes to sleep and she goes to bed, but she can't get to sleep because all she's thinking about is things she should be doing in her photo business. Always loved in those moments, like what helped me most was the saying pressure is a privilege, right? Like the only reason this feels like so much and so overwhelming is because we're like doing everything we should be doing and we're taking the steps to find the success that we want, right? And in the slow periods that we have, and when things in the business aren't working, we like long so much for this feeling of overwhelm and the feeling of busyness that comes with more success, right? So when we have so much editing that's breathing down our necks and we feel like we can't sleep and that there's so much to do, I just try so hard to remember that that pressure is a privilege. That feeling of overwhelm means there's enough things going right to be overwhelmed about. And now it's just a new problem to tackle. It's how can I figure out how to make this easier for myself? How can I figure out how to delegate? What balls can I drop and which ones are crucial? And then how can I separate how I feel emotionally and in my and with my self-worth and in my personal life from how I make money? Like that becomes a thing too, the more success you get. And so I'm just proud of you. Like I know you're working your ass off and that goes for everybody here. And I know like there's different goals and things you want in the business, and it's hard to focus on them when you're trying to focus on another full-time job and on editing. But you're doing so well, and you're going to find that space to find the next things to overwhelm yourself with and to get to that next level you want, and then you'll figure out what else can be dropped. This photographer needs to break everything she needs to do into bite-sized pieces instead of looking at huge goals and getting overwhelmed. She's also working on becoming more searchable and speaking to strangers instead of people she knows. And she gets the strategy of blogging but feels weird trying to write them and doesn't know how to use her voice or what should be in them. Thank you for sharing. That's I hear this complaint a lot. Like you're not the only one at all. And I think is there any part of you that still like were you on the internet in the 2000s and 2010s? Like were you into blogs?
I read blogs. I knew
Yeah.
what they were. I wouldn't say I like had a blog, but yeah.
Totally. So I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. I have some students who like they're convinced a blog has to be like this voicey thing that represents their personality and like it can only be that, right? And so when you get into sciencey shit where literally all we're trying to do is like, is the title something someone would type into search? And then when they click the title, are they catfished by what's inside the blog post, you know? So it's like if I'm asking you to try to rank and search for Stanley, Idaho elopements. Like, there's no reason you can't pretend you're just bringing along someone and talking in your own voice and palling around with them, everything and brain dumping and raccoon handsing everything you know about eloping in Stanley, right? Because really, when you do that, it's going to be SEO optimized. Because with these templates, what's so great is like literally take a 5 minute timer and quickly fix all the headings. That's your only job for the 5 minutes, right? Is to make the headings SEO optimized. And then what's under it, like she gives you ideas for what to say. And I would just not worry about making it sound smart or sciencey. I would just be Julia, who's so warm and like so easy to talk to, who asks such great questions. To me, when I think of your voice, you lead with a lot of questions, right? So like you can do that in your writing. If the header is something like, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what's in the templates. Like example timeline for your Stanley, Idaho elopement, right? You could be like, here's some questions my couples have when we're building their timeline. And you can list the questions, then you can answer them in your own words. And then that section's done. So like we don't need to be thinking so hard about this. We just need to think like, how would I actually talk to someone asking questions that would be under this header?
Yeah, I
Does
think
that
that
help?
helps. Yeah, no, that does help a lot. Yeah, I think in my brain, something that's searchable isn't something that is the way I talk. So I think I
Yeah.
just need to merge those things.
Totally. I may do the science in the headings, but don't overthink it. And then in the paragraphs under the headings, just talk how you talk. And it's going to take some quantity until it starts working. And I really want videos embedded in these blog posts if we can do it.
Okay.
Because
I
like
will do that.
I just know how it felt. I feel like I blogged badly for 3 years until Danielle found me and was like, what are you doing? You know? So I'm not, to me, I always say this, you guys are probably sick of this, but like it's hard to do a strategy that you don't want to do until you have proof that it works, right? So as soon as this starts working and you start getting inquiries, like all objections go out of your head and you just start doing it. Emily says, Julia, I had someone find my elopement video on YouTube, not my blog. So that's also something you can consider for SEO because Google would push YouTube videos on top of search bars too. Yeah, phase 4, lesson 2, we talk about this exact thing. So to me, it all like works together, like it's just a big web, but in your YouTube descriptions, like link your website and the blog post that you plan on putting the YouTube video in. It's like Inception a little bit. Because, like, if someone organically finds you from either a Google search that leads them to your YouTube video or just finding you on YouTube itself, if they click that description for more info, it's always where do I want them to go next? This is how most of my clients find me, Emily. Like, I totally believe in the strategy. Any questions on that?
I don't think so.
You all are doing so well, and you're asking such thoughtful questions. And to me, the reason I know you're going to be successful and the reason I know this is going to work is we're not being delusional about what your real lives are like, right? In every single one of your situations and questions and blockers that you brought up, you all were very realistic about your actual schedules, your actual lives, your actual businesses, and your actual personalities. And so, if we can continue to fold these systems into our actual lives and take this time and take the humility to be in the community and bounce ideas off of each other and to just keep plowing forward one step at a time, I know you will see the progress that you're wanting and get where you want to go. And we're not going to let each other fail. And you're all doing so well. That's where she really starts ranking. Her website is kind of ass for ranking, but what she needs to do is look at the Instagram videos that rank because those usually do really well. She has really specific, weird niche terms by accident in her captions. And then we redirect like what starts hitting in those captions, and those are her next blog posts. So it all feeds into each other strategy wise. Because if it's ranking with an Instagram video, that means there's a low volume of content related to that topic.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of because I think we talked last week about me taking what I'm posting to TikTok and posting that onto YouTube and to my blog.
Mhm.
And seeing all these results of this other photographer was like my like, okay, yeah, I have to be doing that because if that's getting pushed like at the top of the search, then I need to be doing that.
Yes, agreed. And that is why we always favor searchability in our captions as well. Like you don't get to run away from SEO when you're working with me, period. Okay. Now that everyone's said their piece, I also just want to encourage you all to lean on each other because you're all successful business owners and you have so much value to give one another. So, as you see, like the culture's building of everyone starting to give answers in these comments, we're not formal here. Like, I love the comments, but never feel shy about unmuting and being like, "Hey, here's what I think, Julia. You would be great doing this. Those noodles look really good." Next, this person mentioned a videographer wants to work together and create packages together and wants to know how to navigate that. But she's also worried that adding simple highlight films will ruin her relationships with other videographers. Here's what sucks about being a videographer and what's amazing about being a videographer is that I have deals like that with so many photographers, and I, in return, don't get photographers any work, really. You know what I mean? I'm like, Devin's sending me these bougie ass weddings I'm not targeting. There's so many elopement crews around here where I tag along doing video only for their weddings. It's like great to be a videographer in that way. That's what they're trying to get out of you. And so it's great for them, fine for you. Like you're serving your couple, whether the couple goes with you or if they say they want something more complicated, you love these people, put them at the top of your list. So to me, like I remember there being a period in my business getting a lot of offers like this and overthinking it, thinking it meant really going into business together. really work it where you're like keeping the relationship open and super positive, and hopefully you do work with these people a ton, but all you're doing in the selling phase is giving your clients all the information they need to make the best choices for themselves. And a lot of the time you will be the best choice, and a lot of the time they might be like, yeah, we want something more produced or complicated, and then you send your vendor list and you work with your friends. But outwardly, like, they don't need to think of it like that. You can just be like, yeah, I'd love to work together as much as we can. Like, you're at the top of my vendor list. It doesn't need to be like you get a deal if you go with both of us. You can market it that way. Like when Devin and I work together, it's marketed as a deal, but like I don't know if like $15,000 to $20,000 is what most people would call a deal, you know? Does that answer your question, or like does that still feel weird?
No, I think that makes sense. I think in my brain I was making it, yeah, just more complicated than it needed to be. So yeah.
It's great for a videographer, weird for a photographer in most cases. Because like for video only, a client is usually booking that service last. Like no videographer is referring a client to you as a photographer, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay.
And I always want you to remember, whenever you go down the overthinking path of being like, oh, I just do this part-time, there's no corporate ladder in creative business. You know, it's just the market. Like, are clients hiring you or not? Um, you're not like a better or worse option because of your other job. Like, no one even needs to know about it. No one needs to know how long you've been doing something. No one needs to know how much you charged last year. No one needs to know if how many pivots you've done or how many niches you pivoted to. No one needs to know if you got your first camera at 6 years old or if you decided to just do this to make money 6 months ago. They just care about how you can serve them and your final product and your personality.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
think
great at what
that
you
helped.
do.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think that is helpful. And I need to remind myself of that. So that's good.
Yeah. Any videographer wants to do a package deal with you, it means you're great to work with, and they like working with you and you're fun, and they like the experience you provide for your shared clients. So it's a positive, it's a win, and it's not a betrayal for you to upsell video, even if you still continue to work with other videographers.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm video, like the position's reversed, obviously, because I started as a videographer, but I'm video only at so many of my weddings, especially traditional weddings. But I don't see it as betraying my photography partners or leads because I offer photo. If someone's going with me for photo and video, they want a very specific type of experience. They're not like choosing a traditional, like, they're not choosing me over like a bougie traditional stuffy photographer, you know? Like it's apples and oranges to me. Like they're like, yeah, okay, you can come to our nice wedding if you're video only, because that means you'll shut the fuck up. Okay, anyone else? Sick. You're all beautiful and gorgeous and hot. And that is it for today, friend. Be sure to leave a review and screenshot that review and send it to me at Hybrid Hangout. I'd also love to see the episodes you're loving in your stories so I can share and say hey and thanks for listening. Basically, I just want to be friends. I will see you soon. Beautiful, gorgeous, perfect raccoon with a camera. Let's hang out.